Hi, this is Jamie Magridge coming to you from my craft table today. Today I want to show you how to make this card. It's a very simple one. It looks more complicated than it is, so let's scroll down and get started. Make sure you can see everything. Looks like you can't quite see everything. Move it down just a hair more. So you can see the whole desk. There we go. A little more. Sorry about that. Okay. Well, we're going to be using the painted glass bundle. It is a clear mount stamp, and then it has these detailed dies that goes with it. Stained glass Thinlits dies, number 146347, and the stamp is 147461. However, you can buy it as a bundle and save 10%. You'll find that on page 165 of the annual catalog. The painted glass bundle. You can buy it in wood mount or the clear mount, and the clear mount bundle is 148362. Okay, I'm also going to be using, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because of glare, the Tropical Escape 6x6 Designer Series paper. We're going to be using Memento ink pad, a few Stampin' Blends. I finally got some of the Stampin' Blends. The tailored tag punch. Okay, I've got awful glare today for some reason. Let's see if I can. And then the Big Shot. For paper, we have a thick Whisper White, which is 4 1/4 by 11. Scored and folded at 5 1/2. I normally fold cards the other way, so I just did something a little bit different this time. My desk is a little bit different layout today, and it's a little getting used to it. We have a scrap of layer of the regular Whisper White to stamp the flower and the sentiment on. I have a couple pieces of black. I have the outline layer, or the bottom layer, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I have another layer that's going to go behind the DSP here, which is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And I have another scrap piece so I can die cut the elements out of here, because I need 2 of this tailored tag punch and 1 of these. And I probably can get them out of the back of this, but I'm going to use a separate piece just to make sure. Then for the Designer Series paper, I chose this pretty pink one. It's got these green stripes on the back. For my original card, it just happened to be a scrap that I had. And this is you can three okay, what did I write 3/4? It's 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Oh, I know, I'm reading the wrong thing. 4 by 5 1/4 for this polka dotted one, or 2 by 5 1/4 and 3/4 by 5 1/4. You can use the whole piece. I just happened to use just the little scraps that was left over from when I did this one, which was a whole piece. And this one is an odd size. This is the 5 1/4. I think it's 2 5/8 piece of, yeah, it's 2 5/8. Okay, it can be any size you want, just to layer on top of there. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Let's put the layering pieces all away because we don't need those right this second. First thing we're going to do is stamp these so they have time to dry so that we can color them when we're cutting, or color them without the ink bleeding. So we have the Memento ink. We're going to use this flower, this rose, out of the painted glass, and A Reason to Celebrate. So we need this flower. I need a stamp block. That would help. Pick that up. Stamp. Okay. I also have my chamois over here so I can wash them off. Put them right away so I don't lose them. Alright, and then we're going to use It's Time to Celebrate. You can use any sentiment you want. I just thought this was a nice one that could be a birthday, could be an anniversary, could be a wedding, could be anything you'd like it to be. So it's very universal, and I thought that was a good choice. Okay. I'm sure it's got plenty of ink on it. I'm going to stamp it up here. Alright. Clean that off. Put it away so it doesn't lose it. The reason I'm saying that is because I've lost a stamp. And it's quite a large stamp, so I'm not quite sure how I lost it, but I did. Probably stuck to the back of something, and I can't seem to figure out what. Okay, so let's set this aside and let this dry. And we're going to take one of those black pieces, and we're going to take this detailed windowed one. We're going to cut it out of the black. And I got myself a new Big Shot machine. My Big Kick wasn't cutting anymore. It was only cutting on one side. Let's not wind up here. Let's try that again. That's better. Again, my plates are pretty warped, so this new machine cuts so nicely. Yeah, I don't need the metal shim. It just pops right out. Alright, so there's that piece. Alright. Then we need to cut out two of these out of it. Let's see if we can get them out of the center of this. Well, maybe I can get them this way. One. And two. Awesome. Okay. Now, while we got the punch out, let's punch out the Celebrate. Now, I did make it so that the sentiment was a little bit closer to the top, so I had room to put my rose down at the bottom. Okay, we're done with the punch. Alright, now to make the layers on this, I took one of these and I cut it in half long ways. I took the other one and I cut it in half this way. I did end up cutting them shorter and just using the ends. Let's see. And then we'll use the Tombow since it's right in front of me. A little bit of adhesive on the back. Then we're going to line this up so there's just a little bit of an edge around. Okay, let's do the same on this side. Okay, then for the ends, I didn't like the way this side stuck out, so I just cut just a tiny little bit of this end off. We really only need that little bit. Alright, these pieces go in the trash. Now we're going to glue those onto the end here. Glue on both sides at the same time. Just wanted to push it out far enough so that it didn't look awkward next to the sticking out next to those. So there's that piece. Let's get this die out of here so I can put it away so I don't lose it. All these little pieces. My pokey tool. Paper piercing tool. You can also find this in the annual catalog in the tool section. There's little holes in the back of this. You just find the little hole and poke and it pops right out. All these little pieces will just fall right out. New machine cuts so nicely. So nice. I loved my big cat. It worked so well for so long, and I got it at a really good price. But okay, so there's that piece, and I should have probably put the adhesive strips on the back of that so that I could cut them out. And it would be more easier to glue on, but I forgot, so. Alright, we need this piece. Let me put this back away so I don't lose that. And I just keep it in here so I know where it is, otherwise I have a tendency to get stuff. Alright, and we'll get rid of these little crumbs into the trash. Alright, now we're going to color the rose in. And I do recommend you have a little piece of scrap paper behind you because it will bleed through the paper a little bit. We're going to start with the rose. The only yellow colors I got at this point is Mango Melody. So I'm going to start with the light Mango Melody and I'm going to color the entire rose. Then I'm going to go with the darker of the two, and in these areas, any of these areas where it would be dark, or it would be down inside, or where it would be shadowed by another petal, I'm going to add a little bit of the dark. I'm going to go back in with the light, and I'm just going to blend those a little tiny bit. Okay, and then I'm going to take the lovely lipstick light color, and I'm going to add just a tiny little bit of pink on the tips of some of these petals. One of my favorite roses is yellow with just a little tiny bit of the pink on it. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Just a little bits here and there, not a lot. And I'm going to go back with the light, and I'm going to blend that. I want it to look like it is chicken pox. I just want it to have a little bit of color on it. It's bleeding outside the lines. I've over inked it a little bit. But we're going to go with it anyways. If you put too much ink on, it will oversaturate the paper and it will bleed. So for the leaves, I'm going to go in with this light green, which is Granny Apple Green. Just avoid that. Just let it dry in between layers. I just forgot. I did too much. I should have just stopped at the yellow. Okay, you can correct it by taking the blender, the clear one, but I'm not going to fret on it. Or I could stamp it again and do it again. Where's the clear one? Way over here. It's called the Color Lifter, I think. What's this one called? Oh. Color Lifter, yeah. And you just go from the outside, and it'll push the color back inside. And you might have to do that a couple of times to get it to all the way correct. In this instance, it's kind of making it worse. Okay, kind of looks like a shadow though, so that's alright. Okay, now we're going to take the flower die. And we're going to cut out that flower. This way. See if I can get it lined up on here without the Post-it tape. Do sitting. I'm usually standing when I do this. Put my top plate on. Hopefully it won't move too much. Yay. Crank it through. Alright, there's my rose. This right away. Okay. Alright, let's assemble the card. That's all the detail part of it. Okay, so we're going to start with this black piece. And we're going to take this pink layer of designer series paper from the Tropical Escape 6x6 pad, and we're going to adhere that to this black strip. There's not going to be any layering at the top and the bottom, only on the sides. Try to get it as even as I can. Okay, then on either side of that, we want this paper. So since this is bigger than this paper, we're going to actually adhere it to our layer, to the base, so we know we have the correct layer. And then we'll adhere the pink one on top of it. Okay, so we're going to adhere this one here. Make sure it's straight. The other little one go. This one here. Okay, then our pink layer. Oh, I'm getting glue on this. Should have paper underneath it. I had it here. Okay, then let's glue this piece on top of that. The only reason you need the paper is because we cut the holes out of the center of that, so the glue's sticking through. Okay, alright, now for the detailed piece, you have a couple options. We could have put on the Sizzix adhesive strip sheets behind it before we cut it. Oh, I forgot to, so I'm just gonna, you can also take a sponge and do it that way. I have a hard time not getting the glue all over the front of it when I do it that way. So I'm just gonna be putting a little bit of glue on a few of these spots. Not the whole thing, just a few spots. Don't really need a lot. Just little tiny dabs. Okay, then we're going to put it up here, right about there. There's no measure, just up in the top third quadrant. Okay, now we're going to find our Celebrate, which we already cut out before. What did we do with it? There it is, right on top of my nameplate. And this one we're going to put on dimensionals. I forgot to say we were going to need dimensionals. Just put a couple dimensionals on the back of this. Whoops. Alright, and I put it down over here. Just kind of put it, put it wherever you want. This one's going to be a little bit different than the other one, I think. Okay. I think on this one I hadn't got my new machine yet, and there was a couple pieces I could not get to cut out, so I covered them up. Alright, and then this one, we are going to use dimensional on the bottom, but not on the top of it, so I probably should have used a small one. I'm going to double dimensional it because I want it to be a little bit popped up from the other one. And one on this side. Okay. so now take the backs off of those. Sorry, see how I put 2 on this end and 1 on here. And you can tell I definitely saturated it because it's colored all the way through. Okay. Just place that down there. And we just need to mount it onto our card base, and our card is done. It's really a simple card, it just looks difficult. There we go, there's our card for today. Now you could add some gems to it, or a ribbon, or some of that gold, you know, the real thin thread. You could dress it up any way you want, but there's our card for today. Here's the original. I think I use less color on the first one. I like the first one better, but the rose. But there you have it. Well, thank you for joining me at my craft table today. Again, my name is Jamie Magrich. You can find me at jamiemagrich.stampinup.net. If you see anything you'd like to order today, feel free to hop onto Stampin' Up and order it. Or you can send me an email at jamiemagrich@yahoo.com, and I'd be more than happy to place that order for you. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and have a great rest of your day.